Well, hello everybody. This is a quick tutorial on how to use the 3D converter 2. So if you go onto my blog, then you search for 3dconverter2. That's the one you want. So okay, there should be a link to download at the bottom. Of course you can read that post, it's very interesting. So you click on that thing, the RAR file, that brings you to Dropbox. From there, to download, you have to click on this download arrow thing, direct download. Yeah, so here it's not commonly downloaded and may be dangerous. So you say keep. That thing is guaranteed to be virus free, let me tell you. Okay, so here you're done. So now it should be in your downloads directory. So here it is. So let me extract that thing. Extract to, I'm just gonna extract right there. Alright, so here it is. So now if you go into Joker directory, you're gonna find an example. So what you need to do first is change that batch file. So let me open it. You need to change that path here. So let's see, how do you change that? You need to find the path to your executable. So let's go back here. Here is the executable, the 3D converter 2. So to get the path, you need to go up here and you click on that down arrow, yeah, to get the path. So up, you do a copy, then you have to go back to that Joker thing, go back to the batch file, okay, and then you get rid of all this and you paste. And you paste, boom. Okay, so you're all set. Let's do a save all here and get out of there. So let's have a look at the input. Okay, so the input, so you have that content image, that's your reference 2D image. That sparse depth map RGB image, that's your depth clues. It's basically the same as the input for DMAG4 or DMAG11. So that's like the stuff that you paint, the depth clues that you paint. So that's definitely something that either you can have it or you don't actually need it. That's the output, Dance depth map. Those are the Gimp, the paths, the Gimp paths. That's where you put your depth clues. That one, yeah, I worked on that, but I don't use it, so don't worry about it. And the last one is the edge image. That you need. It's basically a trace along your objects. So that's that one you definitely need. Okay, so let's get out of here. Okay, so now we're just gonna run it to make sure it works. Let me remove all the stuff that's supposed to be outputs. So I'm gonna get rid of this, and this. And then I'm gonna run. So to run, you need to double click on the batch file. that you just edited with the correct path for the executable. So let's double click on that and hope for the best. Yes. Okay. So yeah, you're done. And the output is this one, down step map. Yeah, that's your down step map. So that's the output. Okay, so let's move on. So in that directory, the Joker directory, there's also the original Gimp file that you are welcome to open to see how I generated those input files. So let's click on that. So that's that one. So if you look at the layers here, there's a edge image and there's a content image. But here I did not use a sparse depth map. So I'm gonna continue this tutorial using a different reference image. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So let me get out of here. Yes, so I have another one. Hold on. This one. But before I do that, what you want to do, if you want to work on your own image, what you should do, the simplest way to do it is to go in there and create a new directory. So maybe I'll do a copy of this one. A copy of this one. So I'm gonna call it Edward Hopper Gas, because that's the name of the Gimp file I'm gonna do. So okay, that's good. And let's get rid of stuff. So let's get rid of all that's not. Let's get rid of everything except the batch file. So let's get rid of this, and we'll keep the input as well. So let's get rid of this. Okay, and let's bring over the Gimp file. I'll just copy it, and I'm gonna bring it over right here. Right. So, and now I can go in that, double click on that one. Okay. Okay, so here if you go into layers, there are 3 layers. Okay, so this is the squiggly stuff are the Gimp apps, so they're always displayed. But basically here what you can see is the reference image, which I call the content image. So that's your reference input. The first thing you should do is probably create a new layer, and you have to create that edge image, which I call edge RGBA image.png. You should use the same name so that it matches what's in the input file. So okay, let's see how it looks like. Yeah, it's very hard to see because it's so damn small. So let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Let's go all the way. Yeah, let's go nuts. Okay, this is the edge image, that red thing. So as you can see, it's not anti-aliased. You want it aliased. So you want to see those. You don't want to see any half opaque pixels. They have to be fully opaque. And you can see basically that it separates objects. So one would be in the foreground, one would be in the background, and that prevents the depths from bleeding across objects, which are different depths. So that's how it looks like. So basically what you do, if I go back to something more reasonable here, let's see, 100%, yeah, that should do. So let's go back. So here you can see the red, which is the trace all along the objects. Let's go maybe 200 here. Yeah. So basically what I do is that to create that edge image, I just trace all along the objects. That's all I do. Okay. So whenever there's a change of depth, there should be a red edge. Okay. Very easy to do. So how you do it? How you do it? Yeah, how you do it? Let me see. What you use is the pencil tool. Pencil tool, yes, that's the pencil tool right there. The brush, it has to be, let's see, on the brush. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. The size, well, the size, you can just use the bracket, the left bracket thing. You just make it so that it's the smallest possible, which is 1. Or you could have changed it here. The rest, I think it looks okay. And then what you do is that you just follow your contour, and I think you have to hit the shift key. So shift, click, and left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click. Very simple. If you make a mistake, Control Z. Very simple. That's what I do here. That's how I do it. Very simple. But you have to make sure that the size is the smallest possible, 1. And the pencil is always aliased, so you don't have to worry about anti-aliasing. So yeah, that's all you need to worry about when you do the edge image. Yeah, what else can I say about the edge image? Yeah, you click the shift key when you do the pencil so that you're drawing line segments that are straight. Otherwise it's freeform, so you have to click the shift key as you go along your contour. The other thing that you have to be careful that you don't miss areas like let's see, like when you connect them, when you connect, like here, let's see, yeah, you have to make sure that you go above and beyond and make sure they get connected, especially at near the edges of your image. Okay, let's see, where is it? Let me go back. Yeah, like this one. It goes all the way down. Let's zoom on this guy. So if I zoom, oh man, where did it go? It's a pain. Oh, it's here. Okay, so that's the image. It really has to go all the way down. And here I missed it. There's 1 pixel that I missed. So it really, you have to be sure that you go all the way down. Otherwise it's going to bleed a little bit here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let's see what else. Let's see. Yeah, here I got a little bit crazy at the for the sign. I don't know if you need to do all this, but let's look at it. Yeah, you can see they connect correctly. So you kind of have to zoom in and make sure that you connect correctly. There's no gaps. All right. I think that's pretty much it for that. So now let's move on. Let's move on to the sparse def map. I'm going to try to explain why you may need it sometimes. In this case, you do need it. Okay, so now let's talk about that sparse def map. In this case, it's very useful because you can establish the depth very easily because you have a flat plane, which is basically that area. So it's very easy to set up those depths in the sparse def map. And then what's cool about it is that whenever you need to put a Gimp path somewhere else, then all you have to do is take that color picker thing, and then you just click on the color picker. So let's say I want to know the depth at which that thing is gonna be, that gas thing G. So I just click here, right here, poof, and I have the depth here at 188. So whenever I do my Gimp path, I just draw the Gimp path and I name the Gimp path 188, which is the depth. If you want to figure out the depth at which that pole over there should be, you just click right about here, and then when you do your path, you just give it the name 128, which is the depth. And basically you can do that for everything. You can do it for this path here, for this path. It's very convenient. And the way you create that sparse def map, what I do is that I just create a selection. So I create a selection. I mean, I don't remember how I did it. Probably that guy. Yeah, polygonal segment. So you just click, you go around. I don't know. No, I didn't do it that way. First, I did. I probably did a click, and close here, like a four-sided polygon. Then I used the gradient tool, and then what I did is that I used the eraser tool. You use the eraser tool. If I can find it. Oh man, I don't know why they changed everything. Yeah, eraser. But when you use the eraser tool, you have to make sure that you use the hard edge here. Hard edge. Click that. Otherwise, it's gonna anti-alias everything. So what you do is that you erase around the stuff that's not supposed to be. That's not supposed to be painted. So those guys here, that guy here, this guy here, and that thing here as well. So yeah, basically that's your sparse def map. Also, because I think the gradient tool uses anti-aliasing, you may have to, once you're done, go into layer, transparency, and you do threshold alpha, and you leave it as is, and you just click OK. That's going to get rid of all the partially transparent pixels. So do that at some point. Do that when you're done with your sparse depth map. Okay. So that's basically what you need to know about the sparse depth map. It's not you don't really need it, but if in this case where you have a nice you have a plane and it's quite clear that what the depths are supposed to be, you should really use it. It's gonna really help. Yeah, maybe it would be a good idea to show you how I created the sparse depth map in this case. So let's do it. Okay, so I removed it, and now I'm gonna recreate it. So new layer, rename the layer sparse depth map, sparse depth map, I think sparse depth map RGBA image.png. I think that's the name I use in the input file. Yeah, sparse depth map. Okay, let's do it. So first thing first, boom, free select tool. So I'm just going to do it rapidly because I'm just going to create that polygon. Don't have to be too perfect. Up, here's my polygon. Now gradient. So I'm gonna go from pure white yeah, use this thing instead of that thing. I don't like this, I like this, and I want to move in this so that it's only grayscale. So I'm only moving this thing along this side, so it's always grayscale. Oops. Man, I hate this thing. It changed it. Oh man, it's horrible. So yeah, so 255, so it's all over there. So that's gonna be, and then the other one, I don't remember what I used. Let's go to around here. Like around 75 should be fine. So okay, so now up, let's create the gradient. Yeah, I think it's okay, right? So let's start right. So up and select. So now you have to get rid of the, you have to erase. So I think the best way to do that is to go into the layer and change the opacity, that you can see what you're doing. Yeah, something like that. So now you go to eraser and you hard edge and you just erase away. So I'm changing the size here, brush size. You don't have enough. And then you just erase on this one. Yeah, so you just erase around the stuff that's not something like that. You get the idea. Up. Erase here. Up. Yeah, erase. I think I erased the whole thing here. Erase here. Up, 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 up. Erase. I have to erase this guy too. So. And here you have to be a little bit more careful, I guess. But, something like that. Yeah, okay. So let's go back. Let's go back to 100%. Okay. Yeah, it's not the best, but you know. So that's it. So now if this is my sparse depth image. Okay, so now let's move on to the Gimp paths. So if you go into the paths that have already been defined, so you click over here. So here I've got quite a few. So when you click, it should turn a different color. Yeah, you can see them changing color. Okay, so the name corresponds to the depth. So like here, 000 means pure black, meaning that it's the most further in the background, and that corresponds to the sky. And so it varies between 000 and 255. 255 would be pure white, so the closest in the foreground. So there's no order, you can put them wherever you want, as long as those three first numbers are always your depth, between 000 and 255. So whenever you see something like that with the pound sign and the 1 or point sign and the 2, 3, whatever, it's because there was already a 158. So the next time you create one, there's one here. So that's 158, and then I created another one at the same depth. So when I gave the name 158 in return, Gimp automatically added that thing, the pound 1. And if you create another one at 158, you would get 158 and a pound 2. Don't worry about those pound thing. All that matters is the first three digits. Okay, so let's see how do you create those things, those Gimp paths. Very easy. You click on the path icon, and it should be polygonal, so that if it's not checked, you can check it, and you just left click. So let's say I want to create a path. I just left click, left click, left click, left click. If I want to go around something, I do I do shift. That's gonna start another one from there. Okay, so shift, oof, another one. Okay, so if you want to delete, maybe you made a mistake, you want to just go back, so Control Z as usual. Okay, so now let's see, you can also create a path. So here I'm continuing from there, and you can close it, that's fine. So in that case, to close it, you have to press Control, and then you can close it. You see the thing changes to a double, whatever it is, double zero or double loop. So that one you can close it, and you can continue if you want. So that's totally fine. Yeah, so you can continue like that. Well, you don't want to create one by itself, that's a mistake. We go back here, so you can do this. So okay, so then I continue, control, no, shift, starts another one. Okay, so here let's say I'm satisfied with that, so it's going to be called unnamed. So let's display it. It's going to be in red, and basically you're going to give the depth. So let's say it's at that path, you want it to be at the depth, I don't know, 0.45, whatever. So you just do that, poof, and that's it. And to get out of it, you just click on something else, and then you do another one. Very simple. So if you want to do another one, another path, path tool, and you do another one. Very simple. So up, 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 up. It's over there, up, and you name it, and the name corresponds to the depth. So let's say 0.35. Boom, done. That's how you create the Gimp paths. So once you're done with all your Gimp paths, all you have to do is export all of them. So you click on one, right click on the mouse, and export path. And here you have to be careful. Export, you have to switch that to export all paths, and then you go, well, and you call it Gimp paths.svg. Okay. Okay, so now you're ready to save each layer. So let's start with that sparse depth map. So you make that sparse depth map visible. Only that one is going to be visible, this one. And then you do file, export as. So let me make sure I'm in the right directory. Yes. So you call it sparse depth map, the same name as the layer name, sparse depth map RGB image.png. Donc export. Okay, done. But yeah, before you export that sparse depth map, make sure that there are no half opaque, half transparent pixels by doing layer transparency threshold alpha. Click OK. Okay, otherwise the program is gonna 3dconverter2 is gonna complain. Yeah, I'm canceling, but yeah. So okay, now next, yeah, the edge image, same idea. So export as, so this one is the edge RGBA image.png. Export, done. And finally, yeah, the actual image, the reference image, the content image. So export as content image.png. Export. So now you should have everything you need to run the 3D converter 2, which we are gonna do next. And it takes forever. Oof. Oh, bah. Yeah, so now if I go into that directory, the Edward Harper gas, I should have all the input files I need. Content image, check. Edge RGB image, check. Sparse depth map RGB image, check. Let's look again at the input, just to be on the safe side. Content, sparse depth map RGB image, and edge RGB image. Perfect. And the Gimp path.sgv. Yeah. Make sure it's there. Yeah, it is there. So now you just have to double click on this one, and you're in business. It shouldn't take long. Well, maybe it does take a little bit of time. Of course, the larger the image, the longer it's going to take, but I mean, it shouldn't take long. I mean, this image is not that big. Ah, yeah, it is big. Oh, shoot. It is big. 6 megs. Yeah, it takes a minute. Okay, so then what do you do? So let's look at it. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to get. So what you do then is to check the quality of your depth map. So how do you do that? Well, let me show you a way. So what you can use to show, to check if the depth map is good enough is to use this website, depthplayer.hugocapital.com. Reference image, choose file. You're gonna choose, because my images are quite big, like 6 megs. What I did is that I reduced the size to 1024 pixel, 1024 pixel, so it's more manageable. So I'm going to load that for the reference image, the content image reduced in size. Depth image, same thing. So you're gonna have, I did the same thing for the depth image. Again, reduced the size to 1024 pixels in the width wise. So let's load that. Create the model. Excellent. So then you can just yeah, I kind of like to change the render mode from solid to point cloud. It looks better because then you can see the the change of depth. So yeah, basically you just use your left mouse button and you just make sure that everything looks right. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like for Facebook, you want to make sure that when you do this, it looks 3D basically. That's all you need to do. That's pretty good. With the wheel, you can scale. Okay, so I mean this depth map looks pretty good. But if the depth map didn't look good, then you can go back to your Gimp files and change the you can change the depth. You can change the depth easily of your Gimp paths by just renaming them. You can also add more Gimp paths, so it's pretty easy to change if there's a problem. So yeah. Yeah, it's pretty easy to. The big advantage of the 3dconverter2 is that it's quite easy to change things. If you have used DMAG4 or DMAG11, that sparse depth map can be maybe much harder to change if there's a problem. So that's why personally I like to use. No, that's all I use, the 3dconverter2. I really like it. Okay, so that concludes the tutorial. I hope you kind of understand what I'm doing. If you have problems, just send me an email and include your Gimp file, the XCF file. That's all I need to check what you're doing. Thanks.